I'm Senator Bob Huff. This is my capital comment for the week of August 12, 2013. The legislature has reconvened this week after 4 weeks in the district, and now we face our last 4 weeks of session this year. A lot of work faces us. I say that every time, but we come down to the very end. There's a lot of bills that just have to be processed. We have over 500 bills in the Senate. There's some more over in the Assembly. So total we will be looking at before the end of session is about 700 bills. But in addition to that, we have some big items facing us. Some we know will be brought up, and at least one we're not so sure of, but we have the water bond that's being reconsidered. We have California Environmental Quality Act reform, we call that CEQA, and then also MICRA, which relates to ceilings on medical malpractice. On the water bond, you may remember a few years ago we came up with an $11 billion bond that included some alternate water conveyance, a way to get water from the Delta down to the south, into the farmers in San Joaquin Valley, and then there's also about $3 billion in storage. What they're talking about now is trimming the storage down from $3 to $1 billion. And as one member said, a water bond without water is really a waterless water bond. Doesn't make any sense. It's kind of useless. So storage has to be a critical component, and it is of this. I think the main components are the water conveyance down to the Southland or to around the fragile Delta, then also the storage. In CEQA reform, CEQA has become a very blunt instrument to stop development. The concerns that are usually raised have nothing to do with the environment. It's all about stalling people until they just go someplace else. So Senator Steinberg's SB 731 doesn't go nearly far enough. Business groups have refused to endorse it because they're recognizing it for what it is and they're pressing for real change. Senator Steinberg says it's a work in progress. Well, we don't know what that means. You can't really study what a work in progress is. The last big issue is something that may come up. We don't know for sure. There's some bill vehicles that it could happen, but it has to do with MICRA, which is Medical Injury Compensation Reform Act. It pits the trial lawyers against the health care and insurance. There's a 38-year-old law that caps damage awards at $250,000. Obviously, trial lawyers don't like that. They want the cap lifted. So they're bankrolling an initiative, gathering signatures, and that's why sometimes you gather signatures so that you can then get a legislative compromise. But we already see the opponents of this measure have raised $12.5 million for something that hadn't even qualified to go to the voters. So stay tuned. That will either play out here in the legislature or at the ballot box, but either way, it'll be a bruising battle. Thanks for joining me. I'm Senator Bob Huff.